Okay, so now we're doing the battery boxes for the solar. We have this situation, about a 1/2 inch gap all the way around, like that. 2 of them, one for the front, one for the back. And these are going to be the tie downs, like that, to keep it in place, like that. And then how are we measuring this underneath is we just lined it up and held it there with a floor jack and then spray painted around the edges right here where there's a good spot. And then we drilled right through here to check on the inside where that lines up to. And the other one is going to be back there behind the tire. That one right there is going to go back there, and they hang down actually flush with this seam right here. So that's going to be perfect. And like that. And that spray paint worked really well to trace the edges of that flange, which will then be screwed down on the inside of the vehicle. It's pretty heavy stuff. It has like a galvanized coating on it. And then that hole comes up right here. And so then we're going to drill 4 of those holes, all corners. And we look where that is, measure it, and cut it out. Okay, so now we got 3 holes. 3 because we couldn't drill the angle on the 4th right there. We have that pretty much perfectly lined up. Drew whatever lines on the floor around the battery box here, all lined up, ready to drop it down into the ground, into the floor, like that. And that lip right there, that part is going to be a problem with that. So these are not properly countersunk into the ground. You can see that. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah, there you go. So we'll have to adjust that. These ones are countersunk, but unfortunately those aren't, so we'll probably have to make that happen or something once that lip hits that lip. Okay, so now we're just about finished cutting out the floor for the battery trays, and let's finish that up and drop them in right now, see how they fit. We'll probably have to trim them up. This is pinching the blades. Let's try to grab this out. This is interesting. It has a I-beam across the 2 pieces, and then there's some foam down there, and the steel, of course. Let's try to hold that up somehow so it doesn't rattle itself to death like that. And this is about 1/8 inch, and it has a nice brown color coating, which I'll show you in a second, on the bottom. And that looks like aluminum. Yeah, it's definitely aluminum. Oh, it's nice. It's actually plywood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ply. Very hard. Okay, let's finish this off. So here's your Sprinter bottom. Oh wow, and it has this insulation. Let's bring these over and check this out. Nice big old hole in your floor. Wow, look at that. And you're cutting gigantic holes in a $50,000 vehicle. So here we got the bottom part. Let's see if you can catch this, of the cross member of the floor. It's a nice brown coating underneath, and that's aluminum right there, that I-channel, I-beam, that holds these two pieces together. Sorry about the backlighting, minor oversight in lighting. And of course your bottom of your Sprinter van with the nice undercoating that the freaking Germans put on there, like impenetrable undercoating everywhere. And this nice, that's about an 1/8 of an inch, I think, thick, maybe a little less, is foam that's been literally stapled on. Probably goes all the way across the bottom of the vehicle for insulation or whatever, keep it from rattling as you drive down the road. And let's try to drop my battery. I bet you my batteries aren't going to fit perfectly. And here is, let's turn off this light so we're not backlit. Let's see if we can bring this over there actually and get better lighting situation and see if that works. I don't know if you can hear me over there, but I'm just going to bring my lighting over here instead of over there, so our lighting actually serves us instead of doesn't serve us. There we go, that's probably a lot better. And so here's my battery trays. I put some PL Premium Construction adhesive just on the gaps in the weld, just to be creative, and on the bottoms of these right here. That's a nylon walk washer on the top nut and 2 nuts on the bottom, and just so that bottom nut doesn't come off, because that's going to hold down the battery in there like that. And this PL Premium Construction adhesive is incredible. It does not, yeah, obviously it doesn't make up for the strength of a weld, but there were some small gaps in there. They didn't do as sorry, that was the back case, and this is actually the front case that belongs in that hole. But anyway, they didn't do as good a job as I would have hoped and paid for. But we're here now, moving forward, and this will now drop in here like that with a little bit of trimming. Yay, trimming in Northern California. Inside joke. So probably do some trimming to pay this this expensive vehicle off. Yeah, that's just about perfect. My line was perfect if I had just cut on the outside of my line, but you know, better be too small than too big. You can always make it bigger, as we're about ready to do now. So those will drop in and be real nice, and that one's going to go right over there behind the back wheel well. And that's going to be gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, my deck is in. We're just painting the boards. You can see the deck. It's all removable. All these just pop right out like that. And then these pop out like that. And then these cross members pop out like that without scratching the walls, like I've already done one time. And my wife made fun of me for after I told her be very careful and don't scratch the walls. Of course I scratched the walls practically a few minutes later since I told her that. And then we have these spacers right here. That's just more of the plywood that we used for the deck because we only use a 1/2 inch 9-ply. Beautiful wood we got at the cabinetry store. It's extremely strong. And I'm going to have to reinforce the bottom here because it's a slight bit more wiggly than I would like. Although it's probably not a problem. I'll probably put some square tubing. I'll go to the Metal Mart store and get some really cheap metal and weld it, reinforce it, and that's about it right now for the battery program. See you later. Like and subscribe. Yay. Okay, so we got this battery box in there. Now, it fits in there now. We ground it with that guy for a while because we didn't follow our original line. That was absolutely perfect. So now I have this thing propped up. Let me get over here. Yeah, I got some good light this time. Somebody commented to get better light in dark places. So we're trying the best we can with that. Everybody just comment, ask questions. I'll do the best I can to reply to them. So anyway, here's my battery box right there. It's dropped in. I have it just, it sits in there perfectly, but I have it propped up with this, that what do you call it, drill bit case, so I can get to show you all this. Now this guy here, this bolt goes in there, and it was really difficult to tight as if they cross-threaded it. But anyway, then this piece here, that thing comes off, like that. Then you have this thing that comes off. Now if you look at it, it's not recessed in. It's not, what do you call that? There's about 1/8 of an inch. It sticks up over 1/8 of an inch there. That's how it sits in there with that gap. So all types of crap falls up underneath there, as opposed to that one, which is sunk in here. Whatever you call that, I forget. Maybe I'll comment and tell me because my brain ain't working right now. And it's the same thing. These tie downs, but it's beveled in here. And for some reason, some of them, like that one right there, and this one right here, is not. So what I'm going to do is I've taken this off, and then this is the problem right there. I'm going to grind that down, and that's threaded. Let's see if we can get a good picture of that. Directly into the body of the vehicle. Like that. So this thing, ouch! Yay, busting your finger on camera. That hurt. That's heavy. And so yeah, but then this thing would sit flush, nice, like that. It's back up, and ouch, that finger hurts. But anyway, anyway, construction. And then that thing over there is it's going to fit on there. I'm going to bolt that down. Our battery's going to fit in the floor, and check it out. And you're asking somebody, what about structural integrity? We'll check all this out. Now let's try to, it's a cool light, LED light, detachable stand, all that business. Let's try to shine that thing up here. Oh yeah, there's my propane tank. Like perfectly mounted under there, like that. And, dun 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 dun, you can't even see the battery cases because I got it to perfectly sitting there about actually 1 inch over. So now, you see, here, let's see if y'all can get the clearances here. Yeah, getting dizzy. So we got support right here on the wall, right there. We have main frame in front. We have main frame right here. And it's just a little gap right there. And then we have main frame right there. So, like, we be jamming, yo. Like, hardcore. And then we're going to put another one back there behind the, I don't know if y'all can see anything right here. It's so dark. But, let's see if we can hold it still and catch that. Anyway, we're going to put another one behind the wheel back there. Yeah, it's cool. Oh my god, I'm stoked. Things are coming along slowly, but surely. And let's try to bring the light back up here, like somebody commented I should do, so people can actually see, instead of go, what the heck is going on? Go and get my thumb out of the thing. Yay, not editing our videos. You see the raw universe as it is. Oh my god, scary. So we're gonna grind it down. We're gonna grind the universe down, that spacer right there, with that tool right there. Yay, fun videos. Okay, so now we have the batteries in. We have the front one in, and we just put this little thing over top of our hut so we don't electrocute anyone by accident. We put that in. That's my window that just came in for the side door, which is open. We have the deck in. Well, most of it. We detached the last part that's coming up. And we have this battery in. We just put this nice, we're putting these nice little fittings with our little die thing right there that we just hammer on like that with the sledge somewhere, you know, bang, somewhere else, not right there, and smash the board open, and soldering everything, and putting the flux on it, and then soldering everything nicely with the blowtorch, all our fittings, then wrapping them with electrical tape, which we still need to do on that one. And here, I'll just show this board right here. So we have our battery things in, and on this part I just removed, there was one of those, and I just removed it because it's in the way, and then I used that and I put that little spacer at 3/4 inch, I think, or 5/8, to put that piece in to hold this down, and then later on we'll bolt all these into place. So we have the batteries, and then we also put, if you can see in there, where's my light? Oh, my little light. But I put just spacers right there to keep the battery You can kind of get a good angle right there from moving around as I drive, like that. And those are tied down. And I'll show you the wiring situation and some of the problems I faced. We put this down here. We put this that unit in. Try to get a good visual on that. Did he lay it on the back upside down on the car? Like that. Now that's all wired in. And this has a 1 to ground. We just grounded it into the same thing. And then we put here a fuse. That's to the ignition black and yellow wire underneath the driver's seat. We'll put a quick picture of that right now. And then this other wire right here, this third wire that's coming out, let's see if we can get that. Yeah, that middle one is right there, whatever, is just a light that will go on the ignition to make sure that this whole unit is working. And then this is coming, which way is it going? This side is coming from the engine. Let's go over and look at that. And around, I fed it through here with just some old hose I had from my old van, which was running on waste vegetable oil. So now that wire, we'll trace it down. I have it going through there. We can get a visual on that in the dark. And then over top of the exhaust heat shield, going around, clearing the axle, whatever it's called, drive shaft, going over here. And then we put it right onto here. So if there's ever any problems, it will go in the same, that's going to my alternator. It took me a while to figure all this out. Going to my alternator, this one, and then it goes inside the battery tray. And then there is a automatic disconnect in case there's ever a rollover or some other problems, so that it doesn't completely fry out your whole electrical system. Well, I guess if you roll over, your whole vehicle's toast anyway, but you get the idea. And breaks off the connection if there's ever any horrible problems. So we decided to hook it on here instead of directly onto the battery. And that way, if there's ever any problems with our whole solar and electrical or house system, it will separate that from the vehicle, as well as separate the or from the vehicle's electrical system in there and all the computers and all that type of stuff. Anyway, that's our idea. You can make a comment if you have a better one. And then we put it in here. We can always rewire it and just attach that through and drill a hole or something like that, or reroute it up in through here, through that thing, and go into the battery actually on the other side of that fuse link. And that's also where we put our, this is going to the Sure Power thing, those two wires which I just showed you. The ignition switch was the black and yellow switch under the seat, which I just showed you a picture of. And I think it's the fitting on the right or far left. I can't remember, black and yellow, not the blue and whatever color. And that goes up through here, through the driver's seat, into that outfitters panel, upfitters, whatever they call it, down here, and into that. And that one, that wire goes down up there. You can kind of see it going through the bottom of the vehicle. Get a focus on that down to there. And that's all tied into place. Let's try to get up a visual of that. I can't really do it with my phone camera. I don't know if you can catch into that dark area there. But anyway, and we'll go over here. Go down there and show you. And you can see now where it's going. Wiggling around here with the camera in my hand. It goes through here. We put all these hoses in. And then we just used, to stop the hoses from sliding out of space, we use zip ties and cut them off and get them really tight. And that way it'll keep this hose from wiggling out, which it probably won't ever do because there's enough resistance right there on the sides of that. It's, I think, a 5/8 coolant hose. It fits perfectly in these, the OD fits perfectly in the ID of those holes. Outer diameter, and we need to put one right here also, and right there, which we haven't done yet. It's like that, and that way it'll keep it from dragging or hitting the exhaust or what have you. Going to here, and then we just wrap the zip tie through it and all the way around this whole frame area like that. And then going back like that. If you can see this, it's kind of close. Go out that way, and then it goes out over there, over the thing. And there's about, let's say, about a good 6 inches right there in between here to the exhaust. So that's not a problem. You may put a aluminum sheet or something in there later. And then right here, I put, and that goes out to the other side. Right here goes down around like that, and I just put another hose around both of these. Now this other, here I'm jumping ahead of myself. So this other wire, that one is the one we just were following. This other one that goes through the sidewall there, or the mainframe or whatever, goes around there like that. We can follow this, I'm not getting too dizzy. And then it goes into my battery box right there. Let's see if we can catch that. Dark. Like that. I don't know if you can see it. So yeah, right there, that one right there, that hose. And again, we just cut a double hose, like a double hole in there with a hole saw or with a step drill bit. And put a hole right there and a hole right here, and then we just directly, that's our battery box right here we're looking at, which you showed earlier. And it's directly grounded right here, and then we'll put some paste or something there to protect that in the ground, and that's the hot coming out, which we showed you, that was just sitting on there from the inside at the beginning of the video. And these are our stops again to keep them from sliding. And I need to take care of those. I may put 2 or 3 of them or something, whatever. And yeah, we showed you the inside just sitting on a piece of plastic, so it's not hot right now. And that goes down again. Getting dizzy, following that around. Now both of them are inside of here. See, they come together right there, and they go around and through that. Where is it? I can't see it. Spin our angle like that, and then we just wrap. That's too small to put hose through. So we wrapped a piece of rubber around there. Just actually an old tractor inner tube. We cut a piece of chunk out and it goes around like this, keeping clear of any moving mechanisms like this whole transaxle, which or whatever you call it, rear axle, which is going to go up and down and up and down. So we have that right up here, so it's not doing nothing and it's not hanging really. We may batten it up, but this is just our idea now, and that clears a few inches the shocks, which are not going to be really moving much of anywhere. At least clear where it's going to hurt this thing, and that. And now we have right back there, that's the battery cable going to the back battery box right there. And then these two, and we're going to make a battery hub where all 3 of those fittings are going to connect together. I'm just going to put a bolt in there, like you can see right there, and bolt all 3 of those together. And then that's going to be that's the engine right there, that's coming from the engine through the solenoid. And then that's my front battery, auxiliary battery, and that's my back auxiliary battery. And then I'm going to put another cable, which I'll show you right now, that I have yet to wire, down from my solar and everything else to attach that, a 4-way connection. And so there's the back battery right there, terminal, and that is a hose. And Vaseline works, it's just petroleum, so it won't degrade that guard. That Vaseline works really well to slide this through, and I just slid it through there, and it goes in, and you can see this light right here. Well, you can't really view, and that's the back battery case. Let's see if we can get a picture. This is going to go sideways, guys, so get ready. Now we can see it. Stick the camera up there, maybe up here. Yeah, like that. And that's another one of those hose terminals, like that. See if we can get that. Anyway, you get the idea. I don't want to make you too dizzy. And now what we got here is this right here is a mess, okay? So here's the sidewall of the vehicle. And this hose is I'll show you where that goes. We drilled a hole right here because we didn't want to put it here to get inside the vehicle. Now we have to get inside the vehicle with all this electricity. So we don't want to do here in case you have a blowout and the tire completely peels off, which has happened to me before, and it will crinkle this thing, but it won't get, this is very structurally sound. But inside this wall right here, this side wall right behind the mud flap here, there is another wall inside of this going vertically right there, and I put a hole. Yeah, I could access here, but it'll get crinkled in case of a blowout. So I put another hole right there in between these two things, and I'm gonna push my battery cable through here. I'll just show you right now, and that's gonna go out through here to this junction right here that I just showed you. I'm looking at it from a different angle, and that all four of those will connect. Now I'll go inside the vehicle and show you the other side of that right there. Okay, so now we're inside of the vehicle, and here's the other side of this hose right here. Now we made a goof. At first we drilled out this hole. You can see the blood of my fingers all over the place. Here, trapped inside the battery thing and everything. Yesterday when we were cutting that out, because I was doing things around this jagged metal and I could care less. So anyway, that's where the wall is, right here on the other side of this thing. We cut that out thinking that we could go through here, but unfortunately there's a wall in between that two places. That access point, that other one that we didn't want to do because of the blowout, is right here, which you can have access through here, which we did a hole saw and drilled that out and then ground it and made it more big, whatever. But that wall screwed us up, so we drilled another hole right there, and you can see the wall actually right there. That's the wall actually, and we drilled right through there. We're going to pull that out and stick our cable, which is outside, our last bit of cable, through there to protect it, and then we're going to run that, careful we don't cut ourselves again, through here like that. And now we're going to be inside the vehicle and we can run our wires. We're going to run our wires to our charge controller, which we'll do another video on. And these are from the solar. They go up to the solar panels on the roof. And then they go to the charge controller, and then down to the battery, which will go to here. And you know, also to the inside of the vehicle electrical. Okay. There it is. Oh yeah, and we're going to put covers on top of this. Make some covers probably, and that way these will be completely sealed in case of any problems or what have you, but they'll be accessible like that out of that aluminum sitting right there, or that's actually galvanized steel. Not that top stuff, that's for something else, that big box, but this sheets of stuff right here, which is like heavy duty, stuffy dumpster dove. Okay, great, so we got everything in here. This is the final panel, and I just put this, this is the last of the 50-foot wire we got, 2 gauge. It's already pre-tinned marine grade wire, and we have the panel. We fed this through here, through the bottom, through the wall, where we cut ourselves yesterday, and now it's going to be like that, going to the inside of the solar and the inside electricity. I'm going to pull this out so you can see how we're doing the wall. Right here is we have this as a bevel right here. You can kind of see there's a bevel right here, so you have to have this spacer. Otherwise, let's see if we can get better lighting on that. Otherwise, you know, it's for the factory plastic thing, but we don't have that, so we're just putting this spacer right here to keep that flush so we don't screw up our wood. So it's a nice smooth thing on the inside there. And the wool insulation, the batteries are in, this is in, and so now this is how we're getting into the vehicle, like that. And we just use this, this is 1/4 of an inch or something like that. This is like 1/8 of an inch stuff. Right here, just junk wood that we're using for backing spacers. And this just slides into place now. And then we're done. We put this into place. You may see some screw holes already. But then I forgot, I decided I originally wanted to go in through here to bring in this cable in, but I'm going to put this refrigerator right here, and that's going to just jam the flow and create, you know, what is that? You know, 6 feet, 3 and 3, again, there and back. So we decided to eliminate 6 feet of electricity loss, because the longer you put wire, and so we're going to put that right back in there. And also we have these, forgot to show this, when we join, shouldn't be doing this too much, but whatever, yeah, YouTube videos. When we join the two pieces, we put this little trim piece, so we have the seam to screw in. We've done that all over here, on the roof, everywhere. So we have this little piece right here that we screw in to join the edges. And And that's it. Like that. That fits in just right. Like that. And this hole right here is there because of this. And we haven't really figured out what to do because we just have the insulation right there. What we'll probably use is a piece of plastic and we'll just weld it with a soldering gun and make a little box or something, maybe if we feel like it. And that's a gigantic box of later because right now we're running out of time to finish this. So this thing right here has to go in. Can you see that in camera land? Yeah, you can see that really well. Good. So that needs to go in and out. Yeah, in and out like sex. But anyway, like this into the thing. Oh, we have our power lines up there. We don't want to smash them. Yeah, so that's what that box, that cutout is for. We have one on both sides, so we don't destroy our walling when we shut the door. Okay, cool. That's it. Yay. Like and subscribe, yo, for more cool, awesome galactified everythingness. As you can see, we got this four-way juncture. This one here is going into the vehicle, and that's just a 1/4 inch with a lock washer, a threaded bolt for a battery bus bar. And this is the best actually, because if you have different things on different sides, the ones closest to your charge source is going to catch all your current. Current always takes the path of least resistance. And now these are, I have my cool little handle. I'll show you how I did this. All too difficult to get on film, so I didn't bother. I got this cool thing right here that crushes these things, these little guys on it. You stick these in there and that thing crushes when you hit this part with the sledgehammer. Bang, bang, bang. And before we do that, we put some of this Ote lead-free tinning flux. We put that so it jams all in there, and then it boils out with the blowtorch. And then you put you heat it up, and you put this on actually the threads. You do not put it on what you're putting it into or whatever. You put it on the threads, and then the threads literally eat it up and suck it in there and make a real weld. And then when we're all done, even though it's probably completely unnecessary, but just for just in case, we put our electrical tape all on it, and we have a nice solid connector that'll probably withstand this human body's life. So anyway, this is our battery in the back. This is our battery in the front. This is our engine. Actually, that's our solenoid, and then on the other side of it, our solenoid is the engine. And then this is to the charge controller on the solar power, as well as to the utilities inside the vehicle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this stuff. We're going to use some dielectric grease. Oh, hey, could you get me the towel over there right by where you're standing on the floor? Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yay, not being prepared. After you've already crawled under the vehicle and you don't feel like getting out again, because we don't have a lift. So we're putting the dielectric grease all over this thing, because why not? It's the power of why not here. And like that. I'm going to cover this thing here, because we don't want any type of corrosion, because corrosion is not our friend. We don't want corrosion in our body. That's what the white blood cells or something like that are for. And we don't want corrosion in the body of our vehicle. That's what these genius Germans put this undercoating on before they put on any of the components onto the chassis. And we don't want corrosion in our galactified electrical system. And right now all these wires are not hot. They're not connected to anything. I already hooked up the solenoid to the engine, to the black and yellow wire, the outfitter's thing in the under the driver's seat. You'll find that is on when the key is on and the engine is off, to warm the glow plugs and get everything checked out and started correctly. And then it's also on once the engine actually turns over and the starter starts the engine and starts spinning the alternator. And that way, in case we don't have, it's has that wire, because that solenoid, it detects the voltage of the engine battery as well as the voltage of the house batteries, the auxiliary batteries. Yay, wiping things on our pants because we don't want to mess up our nice clean rag that we'll use in just a moment. Actually, use it right now. And now what we're going to do, to interrupt myself, I'll come back to that explanation of that coolness of that solenoid. That's what we call the smart solenoid. Is we're going to wrap everything up with this stuff, this Temflex. Really incredible stuff. I'll talk more about that when I get to it. Now we'll go back to, once this is all cleaned, because I had to put some Vaseline on some of these lines to slide them through the wall. This hosing stuff that I fed through the wall, that's some old hosing. It's like incredibly strong hosing that I had extra pieces of. It's like $2 or $3 a foot. So I kept it, and now I'm using it 10 years later. Yay, my wife gets on my case for keeping boxes and boxes of random things that are extremely useful later. And at the time, they're completely useless. But eventually they'll be useful. You don't have to buy it. So anyway, getting back to that smart thing. While I do this, here's this Temflex stuff. This is cool. It is, it has this outer coating, which we peel off. And it's very thick. It's like electrical tape, but it sticks to itself. You just overlap it to itself. And it's just incredibly genius stuff. We might start with electrical tape, actually. So I'm going to wrap this thing to the end of the universe to avoid any type of corrosion. And so yeah, so anyway, so that smart solenoid, getting back to that, where this wire goes to, it has a circuit that goes to the key on, engine off, and then from there it goes to it. When it starts the vehicle, it says, okay, the vehicle has enough juice to, this takes about a few seconds to do, I think. It says the vehicle's battery has enough, engine battery has enough juice to start the engine. Okay, stay disconnected. Well, first it checks the auxiliary batteries, these guys right here and here. Actually, this whole system over here. And it says, let's say, for example, the house batteries don't need any juice because they're full, and the engine battery's full. Okay, stay closed and start the engine on then, because it's closed system. This whole system doesn't really exist according to that solenoid. Start the engine on the engine batteries. Now let's say the engine batteries are dead because somebody left their headlights on or was playing the radio all night long and fell asleep or what have you. And then it will crank it'll try to crank for a few seconds just to make sure, because you know battery things fluctuate constantly at any given time for a multitude of variable reasons we won't get into in this video, maybe a later video. Stay tuned, subscribe, and okay, so that's good enough. Now it's not greasy everywhere. And this stuff, which is the real deal and super incredibly thick. This is like 3 or 4 times electrical tape thickness, maybe 10. Let me get my hands clean also. touching all these wires with Vaseline on them and stuff so we can slide them through walls and stuff. Oh, and that's going to be tied up later, not now. By the way, it's not just going to hang randomly like that across the exhaust pipe. Don't worry. Yeah, so it's going to start up the, yeah, I'm a little bit spaced out. It's okay. And it's going to, but I make a damn good system here. It's going to start up the engine from the, so the engine batteries are dead. That's where we're at. Okay, the engine batteries are dead. And so it's going to go, oh, wow, the engine batteries are dead. This little solenoid brain is going to do that. And it's going to say, let me check out my auxiliary batteries. And it's going to say, oh, guess what? The auxiliary batteries have juice in them. So let's open wide open the circuit. Yeah, let's go this way. The circuit to the auxiliary batteries. And guess what? The engine jumps itself. Genius, pure genius. And I've had that happen a few times actually, where I use that on my other vehicle. It's a, what is it, 1315. Oh, ah! Darn it. Yay, talking while I work so I can make YouTube videos for all you people if you're still watching. I don't want that to blow away. So that's the geniusness of that little invention. So then it will open up that circuit and we'll connect this battery and this battery and start the engine on my auxiliary batteries, which were powered by my solar panels. Almost 600 watts. What is it? 575, 585, I think I have watts on the ceiling at optimal performance on the ceiling on the roof. And we're going to wrap the heck out of this thing because we definitely do not want any type of corrosion in here at all in any way, shape, or form. That's why I didn't buy one of these silly battery buses from, like, let's say, West Marine, or whatever it is. And all that, because it's like Corrosion City, man. Those things, they just don't seal properly. See, this is why I did not put this wire up, is because I knew I was going to be wiggling this thing and wrapping this stuff and wrapping it some more, and I will not have to worry about it later. We do not want this to be part of the later box. This is going to be resolved right now, like this. And so anyway, I'm done yapping, I guess. You guys get the idea on how I'm doing this. And I think that will conclude our battery thing. So all we have to do is go in there and attach our grounds are already grounded on the battery. And I got Outback Power, two Outback Power, I think 109NC. It's nanocarbon technology. So it lasts longer. So you don't want to have to mess with anything, even though we built an incredible, wonderful system that that can be having maintenance to it. And we don't like to buy $300 batteries more often than we have to. And we bought the non-maintenance type because we don't want them gassing. And we were originally planning, actually, I called the Outback Power people, and I called the Trojan battery people and asked them about their batteries, and they told me that the batteries that I was going to get, these NC 106 or 109, I can't remember, yay, dyslexia, are, you can mount them in any orientation, up, side, side mount, whatever, vertical mount, whatever, as long as they're not upside down. So I was like, great, that's exactly what I want. I was going to mount them on their side underneath the vehicle and not how I did through the floor of the vehicle. But and so then I ordered them. And I ordered them through AEE, like Alpha Elephant Elephant, and that was a nightmare. I guess that was just a fluke or whatever, that it was such an incredible nightmare but they were like, God, they were a month late. And so we backed up our whole project. It was okay. We were able to do other things, occupy our time. As you see, this is a gigantic project. And lost track of mind. Yeah, you don't have to watch this video, you know, if you don't like it, right? But I guess you're watching it right now because you like it. And all that. It's kind of interesting. I would probably watch it. Like, I paid people to do what I'm doing now once upon a time ago, and I just asked to help them. And then I learned, and now somebody else might be watching this video and learning, and then you won't have to pay someone. Or you could hire me if you want, because I know a lot of stuff now. But I probably would rather be meditating somewhere. But I'm happy to try to help anyone if they want to make a comment. Okay, that's probably good right there. Let's go around this one more time. He looks like he could use some love. And yeah, auto mechanics, it's kind of like Zen. It's like, if you get pissed off, you probably are not doing a good job, or something. It's really, it can frustrate you, you know? And so it's really good to learn to control your temper and become like flowing, well, in the universe, and all that. Gosh, I hope I never have to take this off. That would suck. But it'll probably be perfectly clean if I do. And that's what I'm aiming for. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, I think that's good. Let's do one more around here. Around my spider connection here. Like that. Some mechanics can go under here and go, wow, this guy's insane. But he has a cool system. Alright. Alright, I guess that's it. You get the idea. Now the system's done. And pretty much the electrical, at least. Always wondered, maybe somebody can tell me if tape seals better. Let's put some of this around there. When it's snapped off like that, when you stretch it and let it snap off, or if you cut it off. My experience is it seals better when you just pull it and it just snaps off, because that resistance does resistance upon itself. That's my experience. I don't think any salt or anything is going to get in here. I hope. I mean, it would have to really be some type of multi-dimensional time warp salt to get in here with the way I'm wrapping it. But if you guys have a better idea about how to take the electrical tape, and you want to comment what's the best way to cut it or break it off, then I would feel quite galactivated by your supreme realizations of transcendental subject matters, such as how to come to a stop when you're done electrical taping things. So this will hold that in perfect place, like that. And I think we're just about done. I just need to get that. I always overlap like a champ here so that nothing is gonna, wait, that one goes that way, is gonna get in here. So this is practically coated in plastic now, like literally. Sounds like somebody's upset out there. They need to get zen. They need to do some auto mechanics. Manifestation of their camper dream. Okay, like this. And I find that works the best for me. I've tried cutting and I've tried that, and I find that doesn't come undone as much as the other one does. Okay, so now that will go up in here like that with a bunch of zip ties like that. Like that. Let's put some of these zip ties on. Where are my zip ties? Here they are. Like that. And let's just shove some right through here if we can. Shove the zip ties through the tiny hole game. Oops, I missed. It's a really difficult game to play when you have very small spaces like that one. We did it. We made it. All right. Oh, we can't flip it over. Oh, yeah, we can. There we go. Okay, great. So we're going to zip the heck tie out of this like a champ. And like that. And right here, there's all these really cool places in Sprinter vans to do this with. If you can stick these things through here, like that. I don't know if this video is coming out. If you guys can see, the sun is setting like over there, so I'm kind of backlit, which is really not the best thing at all in the universe to have backlighting. Here we go, like that. And yeah, that's the only thing we can really do there. Maybe we could, let's hold that there. Let that just live there. And let's shove one in through here and see if we can do that. If that works. Zip ties are really far out things. They last a really long time. I've had zip ties last in the sun like 8 years. On the roof of my vehicle, I zip tied some stuff, and those zip ties, they broke eventually to the sun. They're these black ones. The black ones are UV protected, and the white ones are not. And so let's try to stick this out through here. That will save us some space if we can. That seems like too difficult. Let's just do the way we were originally doing it. If we have enough zip tie, we do not have. We could use 2. Man, just barely. Let's try. Okay, anyway, that's the idea. And we just put a ton of zip ties like we have here. We need to put a few more in there. Or you get the big monster ones. I have 2 big monster ones. Here we go. That looks like that might work. So, fiddling around with this thing. Somebody's weed whacking somewhere. Oh, it worked. Okay, great. And grab it before it goes back through. And should we go here or here? Like that. We don't want that to wiggle anywhere or pull out or what have you. And we don't want it to fall lower. Alright, like that. So we're going to put like 20 zip ties on there or something. And also back here. All that. Let's see if we're still recording here. Oh my gosh, we're still recording. where is it? There it is. And that goes down there. We're going to zip tie all that up, and it goes up. And how can we get a video of that? Visual on that. It goes up. Up right there. And this is our ground coming out of the battery box. Not enough light. Okay. Yeah, and then it goes through there and through the wall. It's gonna make you guys dizzy. And then I'm going to glue that up. I started with PL Premium Construction adhesive, and that's the hose that went through the wall. And that's it. And we'll show you the finished thing we did earlier here inside the vehicle. On our refrigerator, our refrigerator is going to sit right there on top of that battery box and make lid for it. And here's the other end of that one coming out the wall right there. Like that. And that will go to our electrical system in the vehicle. Oh, and that's our new window we're going to put in the side door. Okay, so here we go with the finishing up the battery tray. Didn't think about one thing. These were just kind of sitting in there, and if we'd rolled or something like that, they would become projectiles turning upside down and falling on someone's head possibly. So what we did is we took some angle. Oh, this is the lid right here, which I'll tell you more about, which goes on there like that. And more on that in a minute. And this is the battery cable coming in from the outside. And so what we did is we put some angle iron. I'll show you on the front one, which we're doing now. That one's finished. We put some angle iron, which is right here, and cut different pieces of it so it goes down here like that on the underneath side, facing up. It makes basically a sandwich in the steel. And I'll go back in the back one where that's already done and show you in a minute. We just drilled these little holes right there. It was tough to figure out how. I think the floor we figured out is 1 inch thick from the bottom to the top. And like that, and then we're going to put those in. And then we're going to put this gasket material right there to make a seal. And we're going to put a vent, like right there, a vent tube actually in the back for the batteries to vent. And this is making gaskets. And then we're going to put our battery on top of our battery thing. We have this foam, which actually came with our inverter, which is like really good, incredibly strong foam. And it also has a good R value. I can just feel the warmth in there. And like that, it just so happens to perfectly accidentally fit on top of our battery box. So what we're going to do is here's our other lid for our front everything. This is just some scrap galvanized steel that happened to have these really cool beveled edges. If you can see that. So when we flip it over, you don't have jagged steel. On the other side is a perfect width. That was already perfect like that. I just chopped off, and right here chopped it. So that was like just insanely coincidental. I don't believe anything happens to a coincidence. So we're going to glue that right up there on the top, and then we flip this over, flip it over, it'll just sit just like that. And keep any cold from transferring. It just perfectly fits right out of the box. We didn't even cut that a bit. And so anyway, like this. Here's the other one. That one doesn't fit as well, it drops down. But anyway, to put 3 of these in there, cut them to fit like that in there, and cut them, and then glue them right there like that. Bang. And flip that upside down, and then we're going to put some self-tapping screws right there that have rounded heads, and then we're going to be done. And I'll show you with our battery thing. Finally got our battery, so we can measure this out. Took a freaking month. Oh my god, disaster. And so here we go. You can see right here. Yeah, I know those are tiny screws. In retrospect, I would use 1/4 inch. But then it takes more time to drill. And that brown mess right there, that's PL Premium Construction adhesive. That's going to do the real work. That bolt is there just basically just in case. We could have probably just glued all that into place. Glue is freaking... And we got it all over the place. This one, we don't have any room in there. Like, that's like... God, that room, that's like... I can't even put my finger in there practically. My knuckle is like, it's insane. So because I did that so tight because of this, the exhaust pipe is not not that far away. So, but you can see right there, that's the other one. So we got 3 sides of that angle iron, so that should be fine right there. And that's coming out the other side with pieces of hose. That's the yellow one is our ground, which goes right there. And the red one is, of course, hot. Cool. Ta-da. All right, finishing up that battery box, that front one over there. And then I think we're done with that whole underneath the car wiring system. We're almost done with in here. We got all types of projects going on, been measuring and cutting things and doing all types of stuff all day long. Okay, so now we have finished everything, and let's put a light over here. This fancy light. So what we decided to do is put a vent hole right here. That's the battery level right there, which will be above the battery. We put 2 drainage holes, one right there and one right there. And just in case, which is highly unlikely and almost impossible, that there would be water in there. And we basically put angle iron on either side here, thus sandwiching the lip right here and right there. And we glued the heck out of it with our stuff, that stuff. Anyway, this is incredible. PL premium construction adhesive. It is like better than anything on the planet. And we had some of this stuff which doesn't work nearly as well, but we used that up. Also PL, but anyway, whatever. So now we're gonna drop this battery into that hole. And so hold on a second, because I only got one body in one hand here. My helpers are eating dinner. I've stopped eating so I can finish this project. Can we even see? Can you guys see? Okay. Hopefully the phone won't fall over. If the phone falls over, we're not doing this again. So just like put it on pause or fast forward. All right. So like that. And now these will, now you guys can't see that. Okay. So now these will go on like that. And the tie down things are over there. Let's go get them. These things, are they identical? And the dummy welder made these out of aluminum. So anyway, I'm gonna get 3/4 inch, 1/8 inch steel on Monday from the welder who's gonna fix the welder guy's screw ups. And but for the meantime, we're gonna just use the aluminum ones. And definitely we should have gotten those at a higher grade steel or whatever. Those like number 10s or some small. Instead we should have gotten a heavier duty thing. So sorry. Oh, maybe that's for the front. Anyway, that's the idea. I'm going to take that off and put that on there. We'll be good. Right down on both sides.
What are you doing?
I am now measuring. This is foam that perfectly fit in here for the 2 batteries. That came with our Magnum Power, whatever the heck it's called, inverter. And it's incredibly good quality foam. And it has a wonderful R value. Just by touching it, my R value means insulation value. My fingers are getting hotter. Oh my God, it's beautiful. So we'll keep the cold air out and the warm air in, or vice versa, depending on the season. And so now I'm just centering this perfectly, and then I'm going to spray glue it with that nasty spray glue that's somewhere over there. And this is going to be perfect battery lid, like that. Yay!